Imagine waking up one morning and deciding to buy a Lamborghini, except instead of a shiny new car, you get a lot of paperwork and a broken heart. Welcome to the world of divorce. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about the kind of divorce where you part ways with your favorite pair of jeans because they've seen better days. Oh no, we're diving into the deep end here. We're talking about the kind of divorce that requires lawyers, courtrooms, and yes, a whole lot of paperwork. It's like signing up for a marathon, but instead of a medal at the end, you get a hefty bill and a single status. Now, isn't that a deal to get your heart racing? But before we dive in, let's set the stage. Divorce. It's a 7-letter word that can send shivers down the spine of the most iron-willed among us. It's a journey that many embark on, but few truly understand. It's as complex as a Rubik's Cube, as unpredictable as the stock market, and sometimes as bitter as your morning coffee. And let's be real, divorce isn't just an emotional roller coaster, it's also like playing a game of Monopoly with your life savings. One minute you're passing go, the next you're paying taxes on Park Avenue. But hey, who doesn't love a good game, right? Now I know what you're thinking. This all sounds pretty grim, but fear not, dear listeners, we're not here to rain on anyone's parade. Instead, we're here to shed some light on this often misunderstood process, to crack a few jokes along the way, and maybe, just maybe, help you navigate this pricey parting with your sanity and your wallet intact. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the pricey world of divorce. And remember, like any good ride, it's always best when you know what twists and turns are coming up next. So stick around, because we've got a lot to cover, and trust me, you won't want to miss a minute of it. Navigating a divorce is like trying to find your way out of a maze blindfolded, except every wrong turn costs you money. And let's face it, that's a game none of us want to play. But, alas, this is the legal labyrinth we find ourselves in when we decide to untie the knot. Now let's talk legal fees. Attorneys, bless their hearts, seem to have a knack for making money appear out of thin air. You'll be sitting in their office and they'll pull out a bill with more zeros than a Hollywood movie casting call. And you'll be left wondering whether you're paying for a divorce or funding their next vacation to the Bahamas. But the fun doesn't stop there. You've also got court fees to contend with. Picture this. You're essentially paying for the privilege of having a judge tell you how to divide your assets. It's like going to a restaurant, ordering a meal and then paying extra for the waiter to cut your steak. And then, my friends, we have the unexpected costs. These are the wild cards, the curveballs, the surprise you owe us more money moments. These could include anything from the cost of hiring a private investigator to prove infidelity, to the price of a good bottle of wine to get you through the process. But let's not forget the cost of paperwork. Yes, even the paper you sign your name on isn't free. It's like being charged for the air you breathe. You can almost hear the paper whispering, "Pay up or we'll give you a paper cut." So while the cost of love might be priceless, the cost of unlove, it seems, can be quantified. And it's not a small number, let me tell you. Remember, every step you take in this legal maze comes with its own price tag, and that's just the legal fees. We haven't even started on the other costs yet. Ever played Monopoly? Divorce is like that, except you're dividing real properties, not plastic hotels. And let's be honest, there's no chance card that's going to bail you out of this one. Now, when it comes to the splitting of assets, it's not as easy as simply cutting everything down the middle. Think of it more like a game of Tetris, where each piece might fit differently depending on the situation. And no, I'm not saying your beachfront condo is shaped like an L block. First up on the chopping block, we have the big one: property. This could be your family home, a vacation house, or even that empty plot of land you bought on a whim after watching one too many episodes of Fixer Upper. But remember, the division isn't always 50-50. It can depend on factors like who bought it, who's been paying for it, and who's more attached to the neighbor's dog. Next, we've got investments. These could be stocks, bonds, retirement accounts. Basically anything that you were hoping would make you a millionaire someday. Again, the division of these assets can be a bit like a game of Jenga. Just when you think you've got it all balanced, someone pulls out the wrong block, and the whole thing comes tumbling down. And then, there's the debts. Oh yes, those pesky little numbers that keep growing like weeds in a garden. Credit card debt, car loans, that fancy espresso machine you financed. These are all fair game when it comes to splitting assets, and unfortunately, they're not the kind of game where everyone's a winner. So after all that, you might be left with half a house, a quarter of your savings, and all of your credit card debt. Isn't divorce fun? Remember when you thought having kids was expensive? Wait till you hear about child support. Now, I'm sure we've all heard the old saying that kids are like little money-sucking vampires, right? Well, with child support, those little vampires become Count Dracula himself, draining your bank account faster than you can say, "I do." Or in this case, "I don't." Child support is a financial obligation that a non-custodial parent pays to the custodial parent. It's designed to cover a child's basic needs, such as food, clothing, and shelter. But let's be real here, we all know it's also funding those impromptu trips to the toy store and the latest video games. And then there's alimony, or as I like to call it, the "I used to love you" tax. This is a payment that one ex-spouse makes to the other after a divorce. It's like a gym membership you can't cancel, but instead of losing pounds, you're losing dollars. Now, the amount of child support and alimony one has to pay can vary greatly. It depends on factors like the number of kids you have, their ages, your income, and even where you live. It's a bit like a lottery, except in this one, you're hoping not to hit the jackpot, so you might be thinking, well, I'll just skip the payments. What's the worst that could happen? Well, let's just say, your bank account could end up looking like a ghost town, and you might find yourself with a new roommate named Bubba, and trust me, you do not want to meet Bubba. In conclusion, child support and alimony are two financial responsibilities that can turn your wallet into a lean, mean, money-shedding machine. But hey, look on the bright side, you'll never have to worry about having too much money ever again. So not only do you lose half of everything, but you also get to keep paying for it. Ever heard of the saying, time is money? In a divorce, your emotional well-being also has a price tag. Now let's dive into the emotional economy of divorce. It's like an emotional stock market, lots of ups and downs, and you're always hoping for a bull market in your favor. But the bear market of divorce is a tough one, my friends. As you navigate through the choppy waters of separation, you might find yourself needing a little professional help. And I'm not talking about the kind that comes with a law degree. I'm talking about therapists and counselors, the people who help us untangle the knotty emotional mess that comes with divorcing. Now, these professionals don't come cheap. They're like emotional gold miners sifting through the rubble of your marriage to find nuggets of understanding and closure. But hey, they're worth their weight in gold, or in this case, in hourly rates. And let's not forget the self-help books. Oh, the self-help books. They're like a crash course in emotional economics, from healing your divorce wounds to how to be your own best friend after divorce. These books are your roadmap to emotional recovery. And guess what? They also cost money. Then there's the emotional cost of time. Time spent in therapy, time spent reading self-help books, time spent reflecting on what went wrong and how to move forward. This, my friends, is the true currency of the emotional economy. It's not just about the dollars and cents, it's about the minutes and hours, the weeks and months, the years of emotional labor. And let's not forget the cost of stress, anxiety, and depression. These are the hidden costs, the ones that don't show up on any balance sheet. They're the emotional equivalent of hidden fees and charges, always lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce when you least expect it. So, in the end, your wallet is lighter, your heart is heavier, but hey, at least you're single. Don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a silver lining to every divorce, you just have to find it. Now I know what you're thinking. What could possibly be the upside of this emotional and financial roller coaster? Well, let's dive in, shall we? First off, let's talk freedom. Yes, freedom. As the saying goes, when one door closes, another one opens. And in this case, the door opening might just lead to a world of new possibilities. You're now free to explore new hobbies, revisit old passions, or even pick up that guitar you've been neglecting. Who knows, you might even become the next big thing on the indie music scene. And let's not forget personal growth. A divorce, as painful as it may be, is an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. It's a chance to look in the mirror, take stock of who you are, and decide who you want to be moving forward. You might discover strengths you never knew you had, or weaknesses you need to work on. Maybe you'll rediscover your love for painting or decide to go back to school. There's a whole world of possibilities out there, but perhaps the most significant silver lining is the chance to redefine your relationships. With your ex-spouse, yes, but also with your kids, your friends, and even with yourself. This is a time when you can set new boundaries, establish healthier patterns, and cultivate deeper connections. And hey, let's face it, divorce might just be the universe's way of telling you that you're meant for bigger and better things. Maybe your soulmate is still out there waiting for you to swipe right. Or maybe, just maybe, you're meant to conquer the world on your own. So yes, divorce is expensive and emotionally draining, but look at the bright side. You're now free to make the same mistake all over again. Because at the end of the day, life is about learning, growing, and finding joy, even in the most unexpected places. So folks, that's the costly truth about divorce. A little more pricey than a Lamborghini, right? We've navigated through the pricey parting, traversed the legal labyrinth, and split some hypothetical assets. We've even played in the arena of child support and alimony, and felt the weight of the emotional economy. But remember, every cloud has a silver lining, and understanding these costs can help us make better decisions. Now, we're not saying you should stay in an unhappy marriage to save a few bucks. Far from it. We're just here to shed light on the often overlooked financial implications of divorce. If you found this video helpful, or know someone who might, give it a like and share it around. And, if you're interested in more content that dives into the nitty-gritty of life's big decisions, then, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's the one commitment that won't cost you half of everything you own.